Alright, in this video we are going to be talking about what to do if you have variables on both sides of the equation. So before you start any math problem, the best thing to do is just kind of sit back and look at the entire problem first. So here I have 2x minus 3 equals 4x plus 2. So I want to start by looking at the problem and seeing what I have. I have a variable on the left side and I have a variable on the right side. So I need to combine these variables first. So they are like terms, but they're on the opposite sides of equations, which means that I have to do some solving techniques to get them on the same side. So it does not matter which side you go to. You just need to always be mindful of your signs. So just always keep up with your signs, but it does not matter which way you go. You can go to the left, you can go to the right. So I'm just going to get into the habit of moving things to the left side. So the very first thing, before I do anything with any of these constants or anything else, I am going to move this entire 4x to the other side. So since this is a positive 4x, I need to add it to the other side by subtracting 4x on both sides. So I'm doing that because it's being added to something. And because that 4x is being added to something, that means I have to add or subtract it to move it to the other side. So doing that, on the left side, the 4x and the negative 4x are going to cancel, leaving me with a 2 still on the right side. And 2x minus 4x, so these are like terms, so I can now add them, is going to result in a negative 2x. So now this is a problem just like the other videos where I'm trying to solve for this x. I have something being added or subtracted, and I have something being multiplied. So the first thing I do is do any addition or subtraction. So I'm going to start by adding 3 on both sides. So that gives me a negative 2x on the left still, and a positive 5 on the right. So finally, since I have something being multiplied to that x, that negative 2 is being multiplied, I have to divide by a negative 2. So I have to divide by that whole coefficient of that negative 2. So the entire thing needs to be divided and on both sides. So I get an x on the left side, and I get a negative 5 halves on the right side. So it does not matter where you put that negative. So technically 5 divided by negative 2 is still correct. A negative out front of the fraction is also still correct. So whichever way you go is totally fine. A lot of times though, people do not like this middle one where you keep the negative in the denominator, but it doesn't truly matter. Let's look at another example. So here we have 2x plus 2 minus 3x equals 4 minus 2x plus 1. So here we have a lot of things going on. So I notice on this left side how I have two terms that both have an x in them. And also I notice on the right side how I have two constants. So I'm going to start by actually simplifying both sides before I move on. So 2x and this negative 3x can be added together to give me a negative 1x, so that plus 2 is still the same. And on the other side, that 4 plus that 1 gives me a 5, and that negative 2x still remains the same. So I started by simplifying both sides of the equation, but now I still see that I have an issue where my variables are on both sides of the equation, so I need to do something about that. So again, because my this negative 2x over here, so I'm going to move this to the left side, is being added or subtracted from this 5. That means I need to add or subtract to move it over. So since it's a negative 2x, I'm going to add 2x on both sides. So on the right side, those cancel, leaving me with just 5. And on the left side, the negative 1x plus 2x leaves me with a 1x still. Or I could just write it with not having the 1 in front of it, because 1 times anything is still the same. So that 1, you can write it or not write it, it's up to you. But I still have this plus 2. So the last thing I need to do is just move that positive 2. So I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, leaving me with an x equals 3. And that's it. So again, the first thing I did when I saw this problem was that I could simplify. I could add like terms on the left side of the equation and on the right side of the equation. So that's what I did. I added the terms with the x's together, then I added my constants on the right side together, and then I moved one of my variables to the other side by adding or subtracting it. And I chose to go from the right to the left just because my end result keeps that x value on the left side of the equation. But it's up to you. It does not matter which way you move it. You will get the same answer out. So I have 2 U tries for you to try. So you have 5x minus 2 equals 7x plus 8. And then the other one is 4 plus 2x minus 3 plus x equals 5x minus 2 minus 7x. So pause this video and give them a try. All right, so on the first one, you should have gotten x equals negative 5. And on the second one, you should have gotten x equals negative 3/5. So again, go back, see if you can find a mistake that you made, and try over again.